Hey, good afternoon. My name is Scott Throneberry, and I am the EVP of National Sales Manager for Guaranteed Rate Affinity. And this is the initial kickoff of our Better Together with Lindsay Listansky, who is the National Vice President of Marketing for Coldwell Banker, and David Dickey, who is the President and Chief Production Officer for Guaranteed Rate Affinity. And today we're just going to dive into and get into what makes this partnership so special. And we look at it and we look at most lender broker, relationships, they tend to be a little bit transactional. And this is, I feel like we're different, right? And that's what makes this so special. And what makes it special is that we're not necessarily built around referrals, but we're built around alignment. We're built around a platform. We're built around the products. We're built around the people all moving in the same direction. And so as we get this kicked off, and I'll start with you, Dave. What makes this partnership so special? What makes it not your typical lender broker relationship?
For hosting this, Scott. Lindsay, good to see you, and glad to kick off this series of podcasts. So, just to create more awareness, and that really is really between us and the partnership is truly to amplify between the two companies, create more awareness, more opportunity for the homeowners that we're in the communities that we serve. And as you said, you put it really well. Traditionally, and even ourselves, we've been pretty guilty of this as a lender, is really showing up when there's a transaction. And by the way, we do that really, really well. Nobody does it better than we do. But what we're really trying to do is help build business together. So create opportunity before the opportunity is actually there. And we could talk a lot about that because there's been so much done in the last couple of years to create more opportunity for the agents and the homeowners, et cetera, that we as lenders, not just us as lenders, have a huge responsibility to get that education and awareness out there.
Couldn't agree with you more, Dave. I think, Scott, you said something that really stood out is this is not a referral relationship. This is a strategic partnership. And we've been saying this idea of like better together. This is not just transactional. This goes way before transaction. It even helps on the Coldwell Banker Realty side to unlock inventory because there's this pre to table strategy that's happening. The GRA loan officers are a part of our office culture. They're there every single day sitting available as a valuable resource. At Coldwell Banker Realty, Comedy Lane feels so strongly about positioning our real estate agents as trusted advisors and being able to lean on our partners at GRA, not just to know what the mortgage rates are and to navigate the landscape, but have a deep understanding of how to unlock inventory and work with their current clients. This helps my agents to not only win, but to serve their clients with confidence. And we would not be able to do it in the way that we do it without you as our joint venture partners, really.
I love how you said actually unlock inventory. I truly believe there are masses of people waiting more for like an interest rate because that's like a buzz thing. So there's interest rate, and certainly, listen, affordability is a thing that is a real thing, but there's more optionality around that than most would know, and that's literally just happened in the last couple of years. So we have a lot to do, but a lot of opportunity to create the awareness that, oh, I don't have to wait for a certain rate, or maybe I've got a situation within my employment, the history of my income that I felt like, gosh, that's just something lenders have traditionally approved, and so we have a lot to do there. But here's the crazy stat. I know I've said this one to you guys before. It still blows my mind. NerdWallet did a survey. I want to say it was early 25. Maybe it was later 24, but I still feel like it was early 2025. Two-thirds of people still believe you need 20% down to buy a home. So that's such
Really?
a gap. It hasn't been the way in a very long time. In fact, you don't need to put anything down in many cases. But imagine that's how far removed everything is from what we know we can do to then get that to the agent, then to get that into the community.
And I was talking to Danielle, who is the SVP of partnerships on your side, earlier today, and we had a chance to have breakfast with some of your top loan officers while we were there. And we were talking through some of the more like complex scenarios and how how valuable that is. I think we think about the typical contingent buyers, right? Buyers who need to purchase before they sell. Yes, GRA can absolutely help with that. But when we start to get into other things like people who are self-employed, clients who are qualifying for business off of cash flow or 1099 income, or we're so focused on global luxury, right? So high asset clients who are leveraging liquidity instead of just a standard income, or real estate investors using property cash flow, like all of those things, you start to paint this holistic picture of all the clients we served. And I think ultimately the power of this partnership can be boiled down to the simple place of you make it easier to get to yes, right? You make it faster to get to yes, because nothing kills a real estate deal like time. And the fact that it's easy and fast, and that it can serve every single piece of that client journey, whether it's just your first time buyer to this is my 10th asset, and we can figure out what solution we have to service you. Oh my God, is that powerful?
I love you put in the context of assets because that's where I still in the especially like you mentioned the luxury market and that high end income earner and buyer. In many cases, they still believe maybe the only option for them is to deploy their cash. But maybe they've got it deployed in other things, or maybe they want to deploy it in other things. They don't necessarily want to use it for the real estate transaction. And yet we have all these solutions. And maybe they've already decided, well, gosh, I'm going to have to use this big chunk of cash. We come in and we're like, not necessarily so. Let that continue to work in the other asset classes that you have them in, and let us help you with the mortgage. But again, the crazy thing is, and there's been some pretty good solutions, but just in the last 2 or 3 years, that has changed drastically.
I couldn't agree with you guys more. And I think really what, we were just at a conference and, we got to see a couple of our top producers on stage and they got to talk about it. And we went down that path of, you talked about it. Most people sell rates and most people sell down payment. And our top producers are more about strategizing to sell solutions, to integrate that strategy with the agent to how they can open up, or like we talked a little bit of earlier about how do we unlock those listings? How do we unlock the opportunity that we can go out there and win? And that's having this strategy that we're going to come to the table with solutions and we're going to give you the option to take what's best for you. And that's what really gets me excited about it. I would ask, is that how do we sell strategy though? Because you've got a lot of agents and you've got a lot of loan officers that are out there. And the key, I think, one of the keys to opening this up and really, really being even stronger, better together is opening up of selling that strategy on how to win. How would we get loan officers and agents together to make that happen?
Well, I will say the good news is in our model, kind of by default, we have a baseline of that strategy because we're together. And so, like Lindsay, in our world in comedy, everybody has done such a great job of supporting guaranteed rate affinity, not just as a another vendor or some transactional partner, but actually someone that lives within the world of Coldwell Banker Realty. So when I say that, meaning we are in the offices just like the agents are. We're in the offices, we're in the sales meetings, we're there when it's time to plan for open houses, we're there when it's time to learn about products and programs, we're there when it's time to set up a workshop, lunch and learns, even for consumers. But, but so at least we're woven into the fabric of Coldwell Banker Realty. Now it just becomes really the work that still has to be done. There's a lot is just the education side. So what I talked about in the last 2 or 3 years, maybe the term will sound familiar when I say all this product expansion and product proliferation that's happened in the last 2 or 3 years would be non-QM, which stands for non-qualified mortgage. And what that is, those are mortgage solutions funded by investors that aren't traditional agencies like a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae. And by the way, that's what most loan officers default to because that's what they know. So they sell what they're comfortable with, and they don't know all the other solutions. For us, the biggest work we've done is to first expand all of those product opportunities within Guarantee Rate Affinity, but then we had to train the loan officers so that they understood all of the options, all the investors, and there's a lot of nuances to know with inside that we've solved for with AI. But then once we've done that, then we had to operationalize it. So you know you have to be able to underwrite it. You have to be able to process it. You have to be able to sell it and get it sold to the end investor. So really that baseline's been done. Now I just think it's more of us spending more time unlocking the awareness of what we have. Unfortunately for loan officers and real estate agents alike, a lot of times, and I know this because I was a loan officer for a very long time, I don't necessarily hear the solution inside when somebody describes it to me because it may not land at that moment because I don't necessarily have a need at that moment. But if somebody explains it to me in a transaction that maybe just happened, and maybe it's one of my peer real estate agents, maybe we could do a great job of working with our real estate agents to help describe solutions that have actually helped them unlock inventory or sell a home or get a buyer in a home that thought they couldn't. But that's telling the story of actually what happened so that it resonates a little better, I think, as an industry because loan officers and we're very technical. So we get excited about, we're going to share with you all the different nuances that go with inside this program. But if we can't translate that to something that's already happened and how we solved someone helping sell their home or buy a home, then it doesn't, it lands a little flat. But that's a big mission for us this year. And that's sort of embodied in, you may have heard of our big mantra for the year is get your kicks on Route 26 and and it just harkens back to Route 66. It's the 100th year anniversary of Route 66. But getting out on the road and creating, Route 66 embodied this idea that I could hit the road, go from Chicago to LA, and that opportunity was out on the horizon. Expansion was out on the horizon. And so we took that and said, all right, new year, get our shoes on, get our kicks, if you will, and then get into the communities with real estate agents and help create awareness that home ownership is a little bit more in grasp than maybe a lot of people think.
AD is spot on. I think there are so many things that he said that I want to kind of double down on. I think the getting away from the transaction, even before, right, with the education is so crucial. One of the things that the partnerships really focus on right now is to Dave's point, is getting on the road, and we're really excited to launch a thing called the $1 Million GCI Tour. And basically, like he said, we're hitting the road, we're getting out there, getting to that hyper local level in the growth markets that matter the most to Coldwell Banker Realty and to Guaranteed Rate Affinity. So we're going to Boston, Chicago, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Florida, Minnesota, Mid Atlantic, Arizona, NorCal. Like all of these massive cities where we're really partnering our top loan officers, our top branch managers, our top agents to get them in a room so that there's early collaboration, so that even before a property hits the market, there's a chance for that knowledge transfer, a chance for upskilling, and to really take a segmented approach to your deep portfolio of products. Because I think, again, there's probably so much more that GRA offers than the typical agent can even wrap their arms around. Because until they get to that point of need, it's always this reactive, oh, I didn't realize you had this thing, someone told me. But I think getting to a point where you're well versed in an entire portfolio is going to be really helpful. So that early collaboration, that roadshow tour is going to be incredibly helpful. I think it's also going to create a feeling of shared accountability. There's going to be really proactive structuring again before products have to go to market. And I'm really excited to see agents and loan officers, I'm going to say, like, operating as an advisory team. We know that there were a team, but I think going back to what I said about Comedy as we're the trusted resource on the agent side, and you have the trusted source on the loan side for financing. We're not two separate vendors. We're one advisory team that is going to make your client close. And that is really powerful. And you don't have that with a bank or someone else. And I think that's really where the magic is going to start to happen, where it's a shift in how we think about you guys less as a partner and really truly part of an advisory team.
Yeah, 100%. Because then you move from transact people that need each other during this different transaction, real estate agent, then it's a handoff to
Not a
the lender,
handoff,
which is always the scary
all in
part, by the way.
together.
Yeah, and it's all right, exactly. So then you're actually building business together, building opportunity together, rather than waiting for each other to do their separate thing. And
Exactly.
but I love that you're taking this to the road, and I know you're going to get some pictures from Route 66 somewhere on that
With
travel.
my
Uh,
Converse.
yeah, and I love that we're doing that because that'll help connect the dots from the complexity actually of having all this optionality. It's complex, but if you can bring that uh, into the markets and articulate it as I know you've got one of your great real estate agents that's going to partner with us on that roadshow. That's going to land so much better because again, if you even if you get me up there, I'm likely going to start talking about all the intricacies of the really cool things that we can do versus okay, so help me translate as a real estate agent. So how do I take that to the market? How do I take that to my community and create awareness around it?
Absolutely.
I love this, guys. I love this. And Dave, you hit it when you said, the market shifts, complexity starts to, be a bigger part of the transaction. You start looking at, am I going the right direction, whether I'm an agent or a loan officer? How do you, at that point, how can you leverage or integrate technology into the transaction? And where does technology give us that lift that can, once again, make it a better relationship between the agent and the loan officer?
Well, this is awfully exciting time. When you think about technology, because there's been um, a lot of technology advancements over the years. Um, I can even think of when I used to Acco files. We've moved so far away from paper, and I would, stack files and send it on in. So there's been technology advance, but nothing like what's happening right now at the speed of what's happening right now. And for the betterment of the home buyer, both real estate agent and loan officer are already inside our world, already leveraging artificial intelligence to help solve for the complexity. Because, and to give you an example, as a loan officer, it's even complex. So if one of you came to me with a situation that you're in, you want to buy a home, but here's how to make up your income and all these other your assets, I have to rely on my own mind and what I know to see if there's a solution. I only know so much. So then usually what happens in the loan officer communities, I would reach out to one of you. I'd say, hey, I've got this situation. I can't quite put the puzzle together, but do you know anything? I may or may not get lucky that you know something, or maybe you don't. You're like, I don't know, but maybe Scott does. So, oh, let me call Scott. It takes a long time to try to figure that out. And again, it's subject to my knowledge base and my connections. Well, now artificial intelligence has solved for all of that. So it's one of our products that our loan officers use every day, saves them hours, according to them, every day, is Product Navigator. So now I can actually take this, I can just type in the situation that somebody's in and maybe some factors like their FICO and assets and different things. And I'm not quite coming up with a program. Is there something available for this client? Hit the button, hit enter, and scans everything. And within, it takes no longer than 5 to 10 seconds. I now have, as a loan officer, all of the different investors, all of the different potential products and programs that I have with some of the nuances. And now it gives me a guide to go dig deeper to then figure out, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about this investor, that program, or that product. Let me go research it and compare that to some of the other products and programs that it's giving you. So technology is going to make us so much faster, so much easier, and it's going to put people in homes that might not have gotten into home otherwise because again it might have relied on me and I just didn't know it, and I just hadn't spent the time as a loan officer to understand a product or program that I actually then could help that client. Now it's right there, right in front of me. And this is a new development. I mean, this has just happened within the last 6 months. So imagine where that's going from here. It's super incredible. So that's just one small example of how technology is going to make this even better for everybody.
And I think the thing about GRA using and Dave, you're such a champion of AI, and I think because you're a champion of AI, your group falls in line with saying like, yeah, we see the importance of it. I think the thing that people forget is that everybody has access to AI, not everybody has the direction on how to use it. And what I'm
Yeah.
realizing really quickly is the way that you've put it into your LO's hands through everything, from your custom GPTs to just training and things like that, you're arming them in a way where it's not a replacement for, it's a supplement. And I think the
Yes.
individual power of world class loan officers with AI creates this just unbelievable collective strength. And what I think about what you just said is so important, and why it relates on the Coldwell Banker Realty side is because you're going to give your LOs visibility quicker and deeper into all the different ways based on your unique product set and value. Even though other LOs and other companies can do that, they don't have the JRA tech stack or playbooks. And I think that's the unique differentiator. So you're going to get better solutions. You're going to get faster pre-qualifications and pre-approvals. You're going to give your LOs clear communication back to our agents and our clients. And ultimately, that transparency and speed is going to build trust on both sides of the transaction. And I just think that is incredibly exciting. And we're like just scratching like 1% of where this could go.
We are. Yeah, gosh, you just made me think of another really cool tool. It's making our loan officers a better value partner for the agents right now. And we just deployed this within the last 3 months. And this is a loan officer coach bot.
Yes, we
And
were talking about that. It's so
yeah,
cool.
it's incredible. So we had some fun with it just a couple weeks ago. Our loan officers raved about it because again, as a loan officer, I know a lot of things I should do, but I get busy in transactions. I get busy with a lot of things, and so you may or may not remember some of the best practices you could do to help a real estate agent. So we did this great little test, and the loan officers loved it. We typed in, "Hey, it's Friday. I'm thinking about how I can add value to my real estate partner today and through the weekend. Can you give me some tips on things I can do?" Boom, 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 boom. Gave amazing tips, and a lot of it was were things that the loan officers knew, but you sometimes forget or you sometimes can't think of on the fly. And it gave them an amazing set. Loan officers were raving about it all weekend. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Dave, I used some of this. I used some of that. It was so helpful." And so it's something, Lindsay, you've brought up before that is so true. I can actually be more vulnerable and authentic with my AI
Yes.
partner to help me be better because maybe there would have been a filter of me in the past. I wouldn't have wanted to call one of you and said, "Gosh, it's Friday, guys. I can't think of anything. What should I do this weekend?" Well, maybe I don't want to do that because I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm doing. And so, but now I can do that in AI, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, thank you," because I knew that, but I hadn't thought of it. And so I guarantee you that weekend, which was 2 weekends ago, our loan officers were much more valuable to their real estate agents than before. Another small example of some things that AI is going to help with a lot. But I love that vulnerability side of things that you can dive in there and ask questions and not feel judged.
Judge free space. Me and
Yeah.
my AI judge free zone.
Yes.
Love this, guys. I mean, this is really, what you're saying too is, speed matters, structure matters, strategy matters. And this is bringing it all together to where we can help, and I'll go back to one of the words I heard earlier in the podcast was amplify. It helps amplify not only the agent's business, loan officer's business, but the relationship. And so I look at this and you talk about the tools, you talk about the speed, the structure. You know, what does this mean? And I'll ask you, Lindsay, what does this mean to an agent's brand? How can it help support an agent's brand?
Listen, real estate's a sea of sameness. It's very hard to break out in a crowded space. And I think we've been so focused on arming our agents with something called perfect pitch. And basically, what perfect pitch is when you get to the listing table, everybody can say they're the number one agent in whatever market. Everybody can say they have 20 plus years in business. But ultimately, what are the tangible things that set you apart so that you win a deal? And I think having a mortgage partner that is based on integrity and you have a legacy of trust and making things simple, that really matters. And I think what matters even more is having an agent be so articulate and confident in delivering that message. Because again, you could say I have this mortgage guy, deep friend, we've been in the business together. But when you start to talk about what GRA actually has versus a bank or other lender, that's where you start to again serve in that role of trusted advisor. And I think because what we're doing is so important this year of educating our agents on what you have, it doesn't feel like empty promises or empty chat, right? So you're going to get really custom in knowing what kind of person you're working with so that right from the second you're at that listing table to differentiate yourself, okay, I'm working with an affluent client. Hey, they have jumbo loans or they are very well versed in helping someone get to the closing table with this type of specific financing. That is the key, and that is the competitive edge this joint venture gives the agent. So the agents that win in leveraging this partnership are going to take the time to navigate their entire way across your portfolio and build that strong relationship with the LOs. The other thing I'll say is I've never experienced us reaching out to GRA to say, "Hey, I need you in this meeting or at this event or whatever. Can you I've never heard no. So I know darn well that if an agent wants to go out and win business and it's a unique thing where it needs to be super solutions based, they're going to help. So whether it's sitting in the room at one of those Coldwell Banker branch offices, hanging out at an open house, whatever, I know very well that having the GRA loan officer in the room takes some of the difficulty in feeling like I need to know everything about everything. And I think that is an underutilized part of this partnership that, man, I would love to see more agents using.
Yeah, agreed. And if we can't get somebody to go there, and they will, I will go.
Dave's going.
I will go.
Dave is gonna get on a
Um,
plane. He'll go wherever you need. And that's really gonna be super cool to see that you're making a pitch stronger, and cleaner and more credible because you have that partner right in the room saying, "I got you. I've done this a million times. I know how to navigate this. I know this seems scary or sophisticated or complex, but this is no problem for us. We are very well versed in this space."
and I'll add to it again. There's some complexity in mortgage lending, and we've taken some of that out with some AI solutions. But something that's on the rise at Guarantee Rate Affinity, and it's been good over the years, but it's really started to accelerate, is this metric we track with the end customer that says, did we make getting a mortgage easy? And 90% of our customers say we make getting the mortgage easy. And for those of you hearing that, uh, it's not easy. I'm sure you've done mortgages yourself. I've done mortgages myself. I'm in the business, and it still scares my wife and I. We're like, wow, gosh, wait, we got to get all these documents, and how do we get that stuff? And like, I know what the process is, so it's easy, but there's that moment of, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of work. So we are already making it easy, but it's going to get easier, and faster. And as that starts to really catch a steamroll, to your point, Lindsay, that's gonna accelerate trust and confidence, and then we can unlock more of that inventory and help people buy homes. Because still, for a loan officer and real estate agent, the primary mechanism outside of the marketing that we do, and everybody's expanding, really working hard to take advantage of how they can amplify their brand, it's still word of mouth. And so if I can make it easy and fast, I'm likely going to get more referrals, and I'll build that reputation over time that this is the person to go to because they made the whole thing easy, not just this one segment of it, but they made the whole process easy. And something we're seeing really stunning results in, that's been under pilot, but is now rolled almost everywhere, is a process inside the buyer's representation agreement that gives the client the opportunity to get a quote from Guarantee Rate Affinity really quickly, seamlessly. There's an ask, there's not, it doesn't have to take time for a referral. We'll actually get to the client really, really quickly and tell them what the solutions are. And again, with AI, especially inside a conventional conforming space, that can happen within an hour. I can find out fully underwritten within an hour because AI tools have access to things that we need to verify income, values of properties, and all those kinds of things really, really quickly. And so that can happen within an hour. So everything's becoming compressed and easy. And the nice thing is, then that gives the real estate agent and the loan officer more time back to invest in their brands, invest spending time in the communities with their friends and neighbors and educating them, versus, especially for the loan officer, having to sit and grind on the mechanics of a loan and how to get the loan through and to get it through process. Much of that is being automated and happening much faster than it's ever happened before. But inside that buyer's representation agreement process, we have customers coming back. We're actually 10 points higher than the non-buyer representation agreement process on our customer satisfaction, on the end cut to all customer satisfaction. We're actually 2 points higher on whether we made it easy. So it's already being amplified by the customer themselves on that choice, that if I take this streamlined process at the time signing a buyer's representation agreement, I can also get confidence that I can actually move from dream to reality. And I don't have to go through some skill. You can make that happen like within an hour potentially. That's unbelievable. And then that's going to catch all of that between our real estate agents and our loan officers is going to catch steam in reputation and word of mouth in and of itself, as well as the marketing that we'll do on behalf. But as you can see, I'm excited about because this has literally just happened. Much of this has just happened within the last 6 months. And to your point, you said it, Lindsay, like we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg of the potential here. But for the real estate agent and the loan officer, they're going to lean into this phase of the business. They're going to have the best careers ever. They're going to have the happiest time in their careers ever because they're going to get to spend more time doing the things they love to do, which most of us
Exactly.
got into the business to spend time with our friends and neighbors, to help them dream and find homes and not have to worry about the ins and outs of this transaction and spend time inside the weeds of the transaction.
This is like the biggest no-brainer part of the joint venture. The first time I heard you talk about buyer's agency, I was like, why would anyone not use like this makes perfect sense. And I think in some cases mortgage can feel fragmented, right? It's like this handoff that we talked about before, and this seamless approach is just so it's so incredibly smart to me. I don't know why anyone would not opt to use it. It seems super brilliant.
Yeah, it takes some of the fear down
Yeah,
too for the client
yeah.
because now as a client, imagine I if I don't know otherwise, and many of us we only buy homes 3 or 4 times a year maybe, and so now as the home potential home buyer, I have to now potentially come up with my own solution. If the real estate agent doesn't have a, a partner that they've worked for, a mortgage lender, I worked with for a long time, then maybe that's not going to happen for me. So now I have to go, well, where do I go? Maybe ask a neighbor. Maybe I call my bank where I have my checking account. But again, mention that the banks, while do they do a great job, they only serve usually their own product line and don't have access to the width of investors that we have. So you kind of leave them at and we watch this, there's psychology studies of everybody going through the dream of home ownership. It's really fun with a real estate agent, and I'm shopping and I'm looking at homes, and it's really exciting. And when I hit that inflection point that it's time to get pre-approved, boom, the satisfaction goes down because I'm scared and I don't know what I'm gonna have to do and disclose. And there's going to be these really scary people called underwriters. And so, but if we can make that seamless at the time I decide you and I should go, yes, I want to hire Lindsay to go look at homes. And I sign at that time an agreement that I could also get a quote from Guaranteed Rate Affinity. I'm like, oh my gosh, fantastic. So while we're out shopping, that pre-approval could very likely come through at the very same time, which is much needed in most markets. So I actually can now make a bid to buy this home because I am pre-approved and I'm not having to say I would like to get in line to buy this home, but oh by the way, I'm not pre-approved just yet. I'm going to go do that. Happens so much faster.
Listen, the thing that every real estate agent is chasing every day is the check, but it's the check after the check. And getting a check after the check through referral business, there's nothing better. And I think this integrated lending approach is really going to help recruit, it's going to strengthen repeat and referral business because it's that integrated strategy that increases conversion, it reduces fallout and stress. And I just, it's going to create referrals. It is because to your point, Dave, you said it earlier. You want someone to just say, "It was easy." Real estate is not easy. I think Inman put out a survey once that said, like, 70% of people buying a house, like, cry at some point. Yeah, this takes that, like, emotional drop off and fear and crying, all of that. It takes it out and it creates referral business. And again, back to Scott, to your question that was excellent before is, like, why does this matter for differentiation? That matters. The difference is it was easier, it was faster.
At the end, when they get handed the keys to the house and it's tears of
Happy
joy.
tears only. That's our
Yeah,
next slogan for
exactly.
next year, happy tears only.
Exactly.
Maybe from a loan officers, 'cause it's moving so quickly, right? And normally I'd say, what's the next 3 to 5 years look like in that space and to maximize it? And this things are moving so quickly. I ask each of you, is it to make better together, perform at the highest level? What does that mean for an agent in the next 12 to 24 months? So I'll start with you, Lindsay, and I'll come back to you, Dave.
So listen, we're going to win when agents and loan officers act as one team. I think we are going to win with continued education and integration between our teams. So I think in the next year, if there was like a magic wand where I could get what I wanted, it would be for our team to spend a ton of time on upskilling our own education of what this joint venture really has to offer and truly leveraging 100% of it, because I think we leveraged a piece of it, but I think when we get to the even 50% mark, I'm gonna go over 50% of just understanding all that you have to offer to our agents. That's when the magic is gonna happen in the next 12 months. So I think really taking the time to educate, completely trusting one of the GRA loan officers with your business for the first time, if you haven't already, huge step in the right direction. And I think that the next 12 months are gonna be wildly successful for both partners.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I would sit down if I'm a loan officer, I'm sitting down with a real estate agent, I'm sitting down with a loan officer. I would make that happen. To understand one thing, if I'm a real estate agent, I'm asking the loan officer. So I watch this podcast. What are some of the three or four things I may not know about that are these new products and programs that Dave and Lindsay were talking about? And maybe that creates some awareness there. And then I think I would move pretty quickly into sharing with each other. I'll give you an example. We have in Guarantee Rate Affinity, our loan officers are coached on something called a $500 an hour activity. And that is where we want them to spend most of their time, not inside the mechanics and the processing side of things, but actually spending time in education and partnering mostly with real estate agents. And so I think also as a real estate agent and a loan officer, I would sit down and compare notes and just say, okay, so what are the things, if I'm a loan officer, I know what I should be doing to grow my business, but I'd want to sit down with a real estate agent and say, I, and I don't think this happens enough. It's like, well, Lindsay, what are the things you're doing in 2026 or you're thinking about? Here's the list of things I'm thinking about. Um, and let's get your list. And also, that'll open up some opportunities for us to say, wow, I understand your business together. I understand some of the things you're doing. Here's some of the things I'm doing. You will easily then identify the next list, which is a list of things we can now do together. What is the overlap of things we could do to actually grow business? So I would say loan officers, sit down with real estate agents, sit down with loan officers and figure out how do I move, and some have, but very few, how do I move beyond let's take this home and let's do a mortgage and put it together so we could go grow the market together. Because all of the advantages of technology are going to make everything easier and faster. So you should get there now and think about, because I'll tell you this, the magic happens when you take elite loan officers, elite real estate agents, they all have one thing in common. They both have really good understanding of those $500 activities and they control the funnel. They're very good about systems that start way up funnel before there even is a funnel, all the way to trickle through and out the funnel and beyond, and the customer for life strategies. But I think it's very, very, very rare that people actually spend time in that conversation together because we're still so used to doing things separately. And we'll do it really, really well, but move to the overlap. Share the things that you're going to do in 2026, and you can move that list together, and and ask each other like, well, what are the biggest opportunities you're going to chase in 26? What are the biggest problems you're still thinking about? As friction points for your business in 2026, and then what what worked well for you in 2025 that you're going to double down on. That'd be my last list because I think sometimes in today's world of shortcuts and hacks, we're all trying to find the next new thing instead of actually doing more of something that works really well, doing a lot of it. That's actually a really smart thing that most people don't do. Again, everybody's kind of chasing the latest and greatest hack is the word I hear all the time. I got to hack and shortcut that. But I would spend time together and those things I just described you come out of a 1 hour meeting together, you're going to create opportunities that you would never have seen had you not had that conversation together.
Beautifully.
what's the first step? What is, you're either you're not working with, Coldwell Banker agents, not working with Guaranteed Rate Affinity, not working with Coldwell Banker. So once again, I ask each of you, I'll start with you this time, Dave, is that you're a loan officer. What's the first step to working
That
better together?
that meeting is the next step. You got to call your real estate agents and catch everybody now because we're already busier than we were last year. Pre-approvals are already way ahead of this time last year in most markets. Affordability is much, much better now in 37 of the biggest 50 metro areas than it has been before. So spring market, even though I know a lot of us, especially, gosh, where you are, Lindsay, I don't know how you got home, are dealing with
I got
some,
2 feet of snow outside.
yeah, some crazy weather. Once that melts, I'm telling you, it's off to the races. So have these strategic meetings now before you find yourself thinking, I'm too busy here or there, and maybe we'll just kind of get to the spring and summer markets. I would have that meeting now so you can take advantage of. Because here's the thing: nobody is having that meeting. Meaning, real estate agents aren't having that kind of meeting with their loan officers. Loan officers are not having that kind of meeting with real estate agents. So when you guys do, you can go take more share. And I think it's who says it? I'm only in Florida when I hear it, and you'll know, Lindsay. Who says go take our unfair share?
Oh my god,
There's
we say that all the time on our
Do you
side. I don't
say
know
it?
who I could originate the quote to or give credit to, but we say that all the time.
Let's go take our unfair
Yeah,
share. Somebody will tell us who says that is that tagline because I feel like I hear it. Oh, usually when I'm in Florida, but I would um,
we'll
I
give it
would
to
go do
Duff.
that. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, let's go do that. This
Could
is a great
be.
opportunity. This is one of those leapfrog moments in our industry, kind of a separate. I call it separation season. This is a time where the real estate agents and loan officers together can really move ahead of the others and really create some uncommon things that most people experience this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie it in with marketing too. So, for those who are listening that don't know this, the biggest merger of real estate history just happened, and we're part of Compass International Holdings. We're super excited to be part of a bigger family, part of a stronger family. And if you listen to Robert Refkin, our new CEO and chairperson, speak, he believes deeply in the power of being in the office. Right, we're 6 years post pandemic. It's time to get yourself back in the office. And one of the things that's really unique about our offices is, yes, you have amazing branch managers, but to something that we said earlier before is my team of marketers across the country, we're back in the office 5 days a week. Your loan officers are sitting in your branch offices. So at any given time, any of our agents can go sit in an office with the trifecta. You have your branch manager there, you have your loan officer there, and you have your marketing team there in person, 3 on 1. You have a mastermind trifecta where you can go in and say, here's where I did in 2025 for business. Here's where this is where I'm aspiring to go. Be my strategic surgeons. And each of you deliver this highly personalized business strategy so that I can hit the ground running as we head into spring selling season. So ultimately, it's get yourself in that office and surround yourself with brilliant minds so that you can get custom tailor-made strategies to help you win and differentiate yourself and unlock inventory in the place that you've been playing and where you aspire to go so that you're stronger and better than ever in 2026.
To myself, I just
Same.
get more
Nothing like it.
ideas. I want to be part of a tribe anyway, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I say this all the time. I'm always like, we have to do that more often because that's where ideas come up and we
The magic
collaborate
happens.
more. It
It's
all
not on
happens there.
screens. It's in
It,
person.
I know, agreed. Although it's magic just
Well,
happened
this
on
is
this screen,
great.
but this is a
Love you
different
guys.
screen. This is the magic screen. Just kidding.
You guys, thank you. I mean, this is such great information today. I mean, I love the ideas. I love the content. I do want to finish with one more thing, and it's Lindsay. You've kind of hit on it a couple different times, and Dave, you too. But I'd love you to finish this sentence. We win when. I want you to finish that. We win when.
I
Mm.
think
Lindsay.
we I think we win when agents and loan officers act as one team and they serve their clients full financial picture as one team. That's when we win.
Before there's a transaction, like build businesses together. We win if you really start thinking about each other as true business partners to build business together, not just do what the industry has always done, which is create magic and handoffs. And there's been magical handoffs. But let's, instead of a relay race, let's do it together.
One advisory team for the win.
I
I love
like
it.
it.
Love it. Love
Let's get
it.
some people into dream homes this year. It's more attainable than it's been in a while, both from a product standpoint and from an affordability standpoint. It's a little better this year, and there's a lot of pent up demand. And so if we go out and really evangelize for the opportunity that people may not think they have, I think we're all going to have an incredible year. And I love the idea of seeing every real estate agent in Coldwell Banker Realty, every loan officer, Guarantee Rate Affinity, and this Better Together family, like taking this leapfrog moment and exiting 2026 into 2027 going, wait, where'd all my competition go?
Oh, yes, amen to that.
As I just elevated. Well, it's been
Well,
great
thank
to
you
hang
both.
out with you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's really, just to unpack the partnership, really a big lift. How do we work together? And ultimately, as we started off this podcast an hour ago, and that's, we're going to win when we're better together. So, Lindsay, thank you. Dave, thank you. Always love hearing both of your ideas, and look forward to the next podcast that we kick off. So, take care,
You
Thanks
all.
for being an
guys,
awesome host, Scott. Dave, always great to spend time. Really seriously grateful for the partnership, and I'm looking forward to big things.
you guys on Route 26, huh?
That's right.
All
Thanks,
right,
guys.
thanks, guys.